Now look at you walking in here looking all pretty and angry and mean and good. I know you didn't get your hair done so you could just sit down and just sit still.
Hey, we trying to have a good time tonight. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. It's my birthday. No, it's not. But I still look good, though. How come? Ow. I bet you want an autograph for you and your fans. Gotta do it in the penthouse. That's where I keep my pen. What you can't dance, ain't got rhythm. What you got a man? I don't see you with him. Put your phone down, let's get it. Forget your Instagram and your Twitter. Got me like, whoa, wait a minute. You need to take a minute. Loosen them shoulders up, pull it up, let's work. Throw some perm on your attitude. Girl, you gotta relax. Ooh. Let me show you what you got to do. You gotta lay it back.
Once again, it's on, ladies and gentlemen. DJ Lowell here. This is our weekly podcast, Between Two Perms. So you guys can check us out on Helium Radio every Tuesday at 10 o'clock p.m. on Channel 2. And we got to work about that, the whole timing, the whole sound of me being on the radio, but we'll work about that later. So good news is we have a comedy showcase. It's going to be August 21st at the Craft Beer Store, which I always host open mic every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. Check us out there. We're excited about that. We've got an all-star lineup. We got Ryan Foster. We got Tiff Money. We got Joe Murdoch. I always forget Joe Murdoch, so I figured I'd throw him in there quickly. How can you forget Joe Murdoch? The one who really is drawing the crowd with his picture on the flyer. We got Jeff Rosser. We got Simone Land. And she's from out of town, too. We're important talent from all over the country. And of course, yours truly, the host, DJ Lowell. We also do have one of the comics that we do a spin the wheel, not spin the bottle, but spin the wheel every week. So one comic has the opportunity to get a paid gig. So we got another comic on there, Jay Yoder, Silent J or whatever. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited about it. Tickets are $5 early bird special, $10 after August 8th, and $15 at the door. $5 for comedy. Come on, man, you can't beat that. They got like 30 beers on craft, and they also have like 250 beers on bottled beers, everything. Yeah, wait, okay. Anyway, so check that out. All we want to talk about this week, the week that was, is the big focus right now is mental health issues. I don't get it. Everyone, Simone Biles, are you healthy or are you not? We live in a country right now, mental health is a real thing, I get that. When you're an athlete, mental toughness is something that's important. Michael Jordan had the flu and still played. You got mental health issues, you can think about that. That can be an excuse if it's an excuse or if it's not an excuse. But at the end of the day, when you're an athlete at the highest level, you have to have mental toughness, which will combat mental health. Don't roll your eyes, Monica, okay? There's a difference. Mental health, if you're going through some things, that's a real deal. But athletes are cut from a different cloth. And mental toughness is the most important thing. I'm not trying to get canceled. I'm trying to say Simone Biles is the baddest chick ever. What she's going through is something different, I think. They changed the rules of the game specifically for her. They did the same thing with Tiger Woods. Oh, you're too good, so let's change the rules. And then I think what she said is that the rule change would cause her to get an injury. So she decided, yeah, I'm going through some mental health. Osaka Naomi, I'm saying the name wrong. The other chick, the tennis player, she had mental health issues. She didn't want to talk to the media. Simone Biles comes out and talks to the media, has a good old time, has a conversation. So what are we talking about here? And then Naomi Osaka, she went and performed and poo-pooed all over herself. She's one of the best tennis players that's ever existed. And now you want to get into this conversation about mental health. If you're still dealing with mental health, don't show up. It's the coolest thing too. If you call out of work, say you got mental health issues, they can't challenge that. Because it's a real thing. But most of the people that use that were just partying aggressively the night before. All right, I'm gonna shut up. I'm already getting the light. We had a great night tonight. But this next person that we're gonna interview today we did a tarot card reading, which I thought was dope. And I got my card read. Monica got her card read, and it was pretty amazing. So, Between Two Perms, a place for learning and laughter. If it's a topic of concern, mental health, it'll be discussed between two perms. The craft beer store on Wednesdays for music bingo, Sundays for open mic comedy night. Got back from Nashville. That was a great time. And what else? Missing anything? If we miss it again, we'll tell you the next episode. Life is short. Live, love. That's an interesting situation. Family. Yeah. Ooh, that's a tough subject, isn't it? Live, love, learn, and then one comment from me to you. Laugh. I got these shirts. We got limited edition. We got the shirts. Nobody wanted them, but now, like over the course of the last couple of weeks, I've had 10 requests. So we're about to do these in mass production, and if you guys just hit us up, if you buy a ticket to the Crafts and Laughs, you'll get a free shirt. How about that? And the other thing I wanted to say is that September 2nd, we're going to the Nitro Reunion Party. Everyone check that out. The early bird special probably passed. I think today was the last day for $20. That's for Tony Vittoria. Tony Vittoria, I'm throwing it out for you. Then, there he is. Then, the last thing I was going to say is September 3rd and September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I'm doing the Sketch Comedy Fest in Denver. So check that out. You guys are the best. That's it. One take. Well, hello again. Welcome to another episode of Between Two Perms. We want to big shout out to Helium Radio, which picks up our episode every Tuesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Ether channel 2. Appreciate that. Everyone who's not watching what we do, you're missing out on half of what the whole content of the episode. But we still appreciate you guys for listening. Today we got a special guest. Her name is Elizabeth, and we're excited about this. We're going to talk about alternative universes and things of that nature, perhaps. Okay. Elizabeth, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Cohen. I'm also by Elizabeth K.C. And I am a tarot card reader, and that's what we're going to discuss today.
So Elizabeth K.C. or is it E.C.? Because Elizabeth Cohen would be E.C., wouldn't it be?
So my mom, being a 70s feminist, never changed her name to my dad. So I'm Elizabeth Cohen, but officially I'm Elizabeth Kaplowitz Cohen, and my middle name is Casey, so I go by Elizabeth K.C. sometimes.
Elizabeth Kaplowitz Cohen. That sounds like a super awesome Jewish name. Is that word?
Very Jewish name.
Perfect. So we can show the audience what is the nature. This is kind of awesome of our relationship.
I have met you being a resident of South Philadelphia and also a patron of Michael's place.
So I appreciate you not saying in a drunken stupor, perhaps, that we bumped into each other. That's great. So let's get deeper into what it is that you do. So you said you're a tarot card reader, right?
Yeah, so I grew up with tarot cards in my life. I mean, they're just things that I don't even remember who gave me my first deck or what. I just remember as a child it was sort of around, and different esoteric things were pretty just kind of bubbling in and out of my life. Grew up in Los Angeles, so I feel like it's sort of the hippie-dippie environment out there maybe. But when I got into my teens and early 20s, I started to take it more seriously for myself. I was very interested in tarot cards as they related to my own sort of personal life outlooks and support systems. And then when I was 25 was when I first started to read for others and just kind of delve into tarot cards in a way where I was engaging people other than myself and starting to read more seriously and professionally. So I've been reading for about 7 years in that capacity.
Nice.
And more recently, which is how this kind of started with you, and I know you have the segment of local businesses. I met you the evening that I had like just officially like updated my website page, and I'm now like in a more official capacity, like taking bookings with clients and putting myself out there a little bit more. Because before, when I was reading for others, I would read for friends, and that kind of like bubbled over into recommendations, and I would take clients as, you know, they approached me, which was really cool, but now I'm expanding a little bit,
So if I understand this correctly, when you first started, you were reading cards just for yourself, and then that expanded into reading for others. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, tarot cards, I mean, I think tarot cards are a wonderful thing for anyone to familiarize themselves with. The imagery is beautiful depending on the deck and the kinds of, you know, deck that you are pulled towards. I think that tarot cards by nature are structured to be very situational per card. They really speak to life evolutions, life experiences, different states of emotion. So I think that it's something that anyone can engage with tarot cards just off the bat. But especially for yourself, I think that it's great to pull cards, helps to reflect on different situations you might be going through. It's also like, for me being a very visual person, I really related to reimagining certain struggles or issues or questions that I had by looking at an image that would come up through tarot card pulls and kind of reimagine my own personal outlook on a situation. So I think they're just purely from a psychological standpoint, for all the skeptics out there, people who think it's just fortune telling, I think that it can be a very foundational support system from a visual, psychological place.
That's interesting. That was actually my next question about how it can help. But now let's think about this. If there's like a mental health issue and someone wants to decide to do yoga or Pilates, would tarot card reading fit into that space? Would it help in that regard, or not?
Yes, I definitely think so. And I want to be very clear, like with any of the people I read for, anyone I talk to about tarot is not a substitute for therapy, or for like, you know, medication or mental health support, whatever it is that an individual needs. But I do think that tarot cards and tarot card readings can be extremely supportive in that respect. I mean, speaking from personal experience, I have very severe panic disorder and anxiety, so tarot over the years has been very supportive. In addition to, I go to therapy as well, so in addition to like working with mental health professionals, I find a lot of support through that reframing of mind and through that visual communication style that the cards offer. I also know a lot of people who struggle with like different, you know, a gamut of mental health issues. So I know a lot of people who have also benefited a lot from their relationship with tarot cards in that way.
So whenever we do the local business, the future local business, we always talk about competition. And I know you and I talked about this in regard to, you can walk down the street, Sampson Street, 2 o'clock in the morning, and someone like, come and get your tarot card reading. And I know you don't want to besmirch anyone else's business, but what is it people should look out for in regard to getting a genuine reading versus someone that's just going to come in there and, let's just say, Google your Facebook information and try to tell you things about yourself that they can just find online?
Scammers.
Sure, yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, they exist. I think scammers exist in really any industry, to be honest, right? But I think that if someone is interested in getting a reading, or even any kind of spiritual support of some sort, like if anyone's interested in looking for a medium or a psychic or something of that nature, I would say your best bet is to do some research. I think that going online is really helpful. I always recommend people to spend some time, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. not everyone who's a really, really wonderful practitioner is online per se. A lot of those people get really good like word of mouth recommendations, and that's how they go about it. But you know, you do have the opportunity nowadays to go onto a person's website, read about them, read, you know, like what is their style of reading? How do they approach tarot? How do they approach their clients? You can get a sense for someone from their Instagram. That's what I would recommend, because I think that it's a very vulnerable place that you go into when when someone is reading for you, and I think that that's something that any tarot reader needs to be very mindful about. Be mindful about the ethics of that, about the space that they're sharing and holding for another person. So I think that it's good to get a sense for an individual and to see if you would vibe, connect, if you like their approach, if you like their ethical kind of like output and platform. I definitely recommend people doing a little bit of research. And not to say that, like, I've actually had some good readings from the people on the street, like from people who have like the storefront. So I'm not here to say that those people are like all scammers or shitty or whatever. I don't know the person on the podcast, but I'm not saying that. But I do think that there are definitely some like pinpoints as to what you should see as red flags. If anyone is trying to get you to spend more money than they tell you about up front, that's really a red flag. That's definitely scammer energy. If you ever get a reading from somebody and they then tell you that you need to do more, like that, like I've had someone actually read for me when I was a lot younger that gave me a really wonderful reading and then circled back around to me and was like, and I'm hearing that you have a curse on your life and you need to give me $950 for a cleansing. I was like, dude, you don't even have to pull these scams because you're a really good reader. And like, we had a wonderful session. It's really like, it was sad to me that this person felt the need to kind of like come from such a place of scarcity to need to do that with another person. But that's a red flag. So anyone that's kind of trying to pull the wool over your eyes or like not be upfront with you, not have like a clear like payment agreement as well as a clear reading style agreement, and like letting you know what's going to be going on to make you like feel safe and understand what's happening, that's not good. So definitely be mindful.
I feel like you're reading my mind right now because twice you've gone right into the next subject. So you, I don't know if you're reading.
I'm not a working psychic.
I don't know if you're reading the notes that I have that's written down that I can see, but we were going to talk about pricing. So I'm going to assume that, and you said, some dude said $550 for the next reading. Like,
for a cleansing.
For a cleansing. So
so
you can just go and do some Jergens in the bathroom. It's great. You can cleanse. It's great. So what does it typically cost to, for a, and I know that there's different levels. You can read 3 cards, 5 cards, 10 cards, whatever, but if someone, let's frame the question this way. How often should someone come and see someone that's reading, and what should it typically cost?
So, it's hard to say what it should typically cost. There's people who, I feel like people charge kind of like depending on, how long they've been reading or like the kind of service they're offering. Like sometimes people are offering an hour-long session that involves tarot and it involves like energy work and involves like psychic kind of like messaging. That's very different than like what I offer as like tarot readings, very like clear cut. So the pricing differentiates. I don't really necessarily have a point for the whole tarot world, but I'll say for myself.
Can I ask this question? If someone wanted, let's see, if we wanted to get an ice cream special at Dairy Queen, and the bare minimum would be like $3 for an ice cream cone, or if you wanted an ice cream sundae or a banana split, whatever, that's like the big shebang. What's the minimum someone could come and see you and say, hey, you put 1 card? Is that possible? We don't know these. These are all we asking questions.
Yeah, so my pricing.
And if it's a topic of concern, we discuss it between 2 Perms.
I like that. So I'll give my pricing. Right now on my website, which is levontarot.com.
Can you say it louder, please?
levontarot.com. That's LEVONE tarot.com. I need to clean up a little bit some of the descriptions of the experiences, but so I'm offering currently a 3-card reading that is not an in-person or Zoom reading. It's a written interpretive flow that is starting at that's $30. So for $30, that would be like 3 cards. I send both email as well as snail mail, because getting nice snail mail is rare these days.
True.
The photography of your cards, as well as a written flow of my own reading of that. That's $30. So like that is like an introductory price point. And then from there, I do a Zoom meeting of a 5-card spread for $45. That lasts usually between 30 and 45 minutes. And then I'm offering a 10-card spread that is usually up to an hour. So it just depends on the kind of experience you're looking for, the kind of engagement that you would like. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Every time I go to Monica's place, we have a spread, and it's typically nachos and guac. So
different kind of stuff.
yeah. So I want to ask a question in regard to like, what is one of the things that when you've done this is like your proudest moment, something that like, no, this is not ghost. We're not like telling someone's future, but what are the proudest moments that you had that said, hey, this was a really good reading? And then to combat that, I want to know if there was a challenging situation where you're like, I think you said something about radio, it's something that was uncomfortable, was awkward or whatever, misunderstood or whatever. So if you could go like positive, negative.
So the most positive experiences I have with clients are when I can be a vessel to like transmit energy, or not transmit the energy, but to interpret the energy and the messaging of the cards, which is what a tarot reader does. You know, I'm not the special one pulling these messages out of nowhere. I'm the vessel between the cards and, you know, the recipient to understand what their messaging is. And if I can hold space for a person through very difficult times, or just, you know, large questions, and do that really well, and have somebody come out on the other side with a different understanding and a better way to approach whatever it is that they are going through or looking at coming forward, that is a success to me. That's why I read tarot, honestly, is to do that.
So you're the vessel between the card and the person, right?
Yeah.
But what if it was between 2 perms? Would that be more effective?
Well, it is between 2 perms.
Okay, perfect. Okay, you got
I mean, that's why this is perfect. I'm literally between 2 perms for tarot reader.
Okay, perfect. Has there been situations where, like, so if you go to a barbershop, right, and I always talk to barbers, I'm like, hey, have you ever like messed up someone's hair? And the barbers are very, not someone's perm, but I'm saying their hair.
They messed up their perm.
Yeah, they messed up the perm. It happens. But hello, producer. No, the barbers are always very, very sensitive. Like, I never messed it up. Maybe if the kid moved his head or whatever. But if someone came in having certain expectations, and I'm not saying you would mess it up, but has there been a negative situation where they're like, hey, you know what, I went here and this wasn't what I expected, negative energy?
I've never, as far as I know, I've never had anyone walk away from a reading with me where they were upset, or like this wasn't, you know, like they were like, you know, like they were disappointed with me per se. I've definitely had to read cards for clients who are going through difficult stuff that, you know, it's not always easy to
articulate,
yeah.
tell them what they're...
Well, it's not always, it's hard to share hard space with people. Like, I want to be able to tell everyone, myself included, all the time that everything is wonderful and perfect and great, and that's just not the way life is. So, like, that can be difficult. But there is actually one example of this. So, previous to starting this business, you know, I was still reading cards then. I had my own floral company, and one of my brides, who's actually a good friend of mine, she asked me when I did the flowers for her wedding if I would, you know, also read cards at the wedding for her guests. So I did that, and it was really wonderful, a really kind of different way to read for people, a very quick way. But I remember there was a couple that came in, and people wanted couple readings, which I never really did that before either, but actually, you know, I was like, okay, I actually feel comfortable with this. If everyone's consenting to do that, like with the other person, that's great. You know, it's a wedding. So this couple comes in and I pull 3 cards for them, and like immediately I could tell that like someone had like cheated. And I didn't say that. I didn't outright say that.
I don't want a couple readings. No, it's cool. I'm just saying. No, go ahead.
Well, so I delicately was just, you know, because it's also a
You could feel
fun
that
event.
energy, or that's what
Just
the card.
with the
what
card,
cards
just
were-
the card dynamics. I was kind of like, that's sort of what it looked like to me. It's obviously I would never look at a card reading and be like, if that's what I'm feeling, I'm immediately gonna be like, this happened. Like who the fuck am I? You know what I mean? Like I can
You're the tarot card reader.
Yes, but at the same time, like I don't know all. Like I might get certain messagings, and when stuff like that comes up, like I'm very careful because, you know, I might think that, and then it could be something else. If, you know, the person spent way too much of their mutual income on something. It could, but whatever. A weird dynamic. But that was the first inference that I had looking at those cards, and so I delicately just kind of approached the situation, saying that it seemed like there was a difficult issue between the two of them in the past, and that they're currently working through it, and it seemed that they, you know, maybe should go see a couples therapist. That's what I recommended. And immediately when I started talking about this, the wife or the woman, I assume they were married, she just kind of like looks stone faced, and she just looks at her husband like, you fucking asshole.
Wait, hold on here. So, how do we know who's cheating? How do we? The cards are telling you. Is it? Ooh.
I forget. So I have to say, I actually forget what card specifically came up for them, but I forget the spread itself. But it never was confirmed that it was officially cheating, and I never officially said cheating. I danced around it a little bit, but she just like looked at him and was like, yeah, that's what happened. So, and but that was awkward.
As we're getting ready to wrap this up, what are some of the goals that you have for the business and going to the next level? What do you want to see this business accomplish?
I would really love to expand my client base. I'd love to, you know, book more readings and work with more people who are interested in having a session like that with me. That's like the immediate goal. I haven't really done like a 5-year business plan or how I want to like truly see it in like a really long-term way. But for me, it's a little bit about baby steps. I love reading tarot. It's been in my life as long as I can remember, and it brings me immense joy to be able to share that space with people and to, you know, afford that messaging to clients and work with people through all their different situations.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Okay.
And this is between 2 Perms first. We've never done this. So I've got a producer, pretty awesome. I know her, all the cards in her future. I really know what's going on for her. But is there a way, and we can pay you Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, however that works. Would you be willing to read a couple cards for the producer?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
I have to go get them.
So I can get them here. The energy, I feel them coming. They're coming. All right, but they're in a different space. So what we'll
They're
do?
just downstairs.
Well, so ladies and gentlemen, this next commercial is going to be brought to you by the Roy Smith Law Firm. Today's episode is brought to you by the Roy Smith Law Firm, where the choice is Royce. If your employer is if you break your arm at work, Royce will break the piggy bank of your employer, where the choice is Royce. Lou for You 2022 is running for Senate, and the Mifflin Street Cuts, where it's a Center City haircut for South Philly prices, or a South Philly haircut go to the Mifflin Street Cuts. Go to Michael's, go to the bagel place, go to Israeli Krav Maga. And what other sponsors do we have?
Lavone Tarot.
Yeah, Lavone Tarot. Okay. So after these messages, we'll be right back.
This is not here. Tarot is not here to tell you what's going to happen to you. It's not here to take any agency away from you. Tarot is like a guiding, supportive structure to hello, to better just help people through the situations and the areas of their lives that they're interested in. So in that respect, I like having people touch the cards or get to choose which they want to read from. I just want people to be engaged and to have a connection to the reading that they're having. So Monica chose this stack of the cards, and I'm going to be pulling 3 cards. Three card readings. We're going to keep it a little shorter for the podcast purposes, but you were interested in looking at your love life, so I'm going to pull 3 cards.
So we're talking about her love life? Okay, cool. Where's Chrissy D when you need her?
Leave my mother out of this.
Interesting. Okay. So we have the 4 of Cups, the 5 of Rods or Wands, depending on the deck, that changes, and the Page of Cups. So usually, like, the traditional way to look at 3 card readings is past, present, future. I like that structure, but I also like to just be a little bit mindful of saying, like, you know, past, present, future isn't such a cut and dry kind of way to look at it. I kind of see it as a flow, and that's sort of how I read them. So in this sort of like past, like previous section, you have the 4 of Cups here. And it's interesting to me, you know, usually, not always, but oftentimes in matters of like relationship or like emotional topics, like cups do come up because cups are the suit of water and emotions and like the watery sort of like areas of our lives. So that's always interesting to me. But the 4 of Cups, this is a card that deals a lot with frustration, as well as not just frustration in a negative sense, but coming to a place where you are trying to think of something of a different course. Like there's something that there's an interest in having a different avenue come out. Like you're looking for something new, something needs a change, even if it's not like a massive overhaul, just like something that was bumping along and going along, maybe worked for a while, needs a shift. And that's where the frustration from the 4 of Cups can come from sometimes, is sitting with the thoughts and thinking like, okay, like I want something to change, I would like there to be a shift, I'd like there to be a difference in some way. Maybe I don't even know what it is. That can be frustrating. This is like the space that we sit in sometimes before we have the aha moment or we have the changed like direction or course, and it's that kind of uncomfortable feeling to some extent. It's interesting to go into
familiar.
Yeah.
Frustration, yes, that sounds familiar.
The 5 of Rods, so I look at this and I think after this, it's like there was like maybe a lot of different things that came up. Like, I don't know if it's different people or different possibilities, not just people, like, oh, like a lot of guys or girls like in the mix now. Just more so like through that, it seemed like then there was maybe like different avenues of possibility that came from that, or different like conflicting ideas about where you would like to go or who you might like to even be with. But because the 5 of Rods is I mean, if you look at the imagery of the card, it's like you have a lot of different cooks in the kitchen here. You got like a lot of different things going on. It's a very active card. Rods and Wands are a fire, a suit of fire. So it's a lot of like passion and kind of just high intensity feeling there. And sometimes this can also be a slightly uncomfortable feeling to think that like there's different options, different opposing, conflicting ideas, people, forces. Like it's kind of like, well, where's it gonna go? What's gonna happen? But I think that this is I think this is a good card to see after the 4 of Cups, because it shows that like in going from the place where you were interested to have a shift and a change that's happening, even if it's still a little feels chaotic or feels like not completely settled yet, or you don't know what it's going to be yet, but like there's movement happening, which I think is a really good thing to happen after a 4 of Cups energy. And then I love this card, and I love that it came up here. The Page of Cups, as a Pisces, one of my favorite cards. Little fish. Little fish popping out of that cup. The Page of Cups. So when the court cards come up, you know, the old way of reading cards was like, oh, they must represent a physical person. Sometimes I think that they can, and they do. Sometimes I think they represent a idea of a person, or a quality or a side of a person, not like their whole identity. But the Page of Cups is a youthful, very like creative and very like wacky, kind of like goofy, but at the same time serious presence. I don't, you know, I'm not a psychic reader, so it's like I can't say if this is an individual or if it's like, you know, what exactly it might point to. But what maybe would be an interesting thing for you to think on is, are these potentially qualities that like you have come to realize that you would really like in a person? The really creative, really spontaneous, very fun, very like exuberant individual. I mean, those sound like great qualities, I feel like, for a lot of us, right?
Yeah.
But like that's something to consider. Like if there was a choice between individuals, or like a choice about what direction you want to go, like when thinking about a person or a type of relationship that you're interested to have, that this is like a kind of relationship that I think would be really like fruitful and spontaneous and fun. And then, you know, I always do point out the possibility that like these can be representative of individuals. You know, maybe if there is an individual in your life who brings you these qualities of spontaneity and fun and that kind of experience, that could be something really wonderful for you right now. So, and I know this is quick and we're wrapping up, but usually in a reading, I will say, like, people don't necessarily always have to be engaged if they don't want to be. But
you want some feedback. You want.
Well, but feel free.
I'm
love,
just listening.
I love.
This is like the first time I've ever had one of these.
But
so.
she wants to know, gauge what you think, what you're saying.
If you have any input or any questions or anything that you would say, like I was telling you when I was reading for you, like I'm happy.
She told me I was gonna make America great again. She told me right. You're destined for greatness.
The devil card never came up in your reading, so I don't think they're gonna be the next time.
Oh, everyone's got jokes. Everyone's got jokes.
But yeah, I love client engagement, answering questions. Sometimes I read for people and they might see something in a card like, oh, you know, like 3 cups. I don't know what it could be. It could be like, this looks exactly like a treat that I grew up in my childhood home. And I can then explore and go down the imagery and the symbolism of the cards, and if that's helpful. So I just say that, like, engage to the point that you would like to.
No, interesting. I know. I'm just doing this for this. If I do it again, I'll do it off camera so I can ask for more.
I'd be more than happy.
I don't want all the podcasters in my business, so.
I'd be more than happy to do a longer spread reading with you. But,
awesome.
But yeah.
So cool.
So what I want you to do as we sign off is make sure you tell everyone, and come on camera, look at that. Hello. All your social media information.
Yeah. So you can go to levontarot.com. So that's LEVONETAROT.com. That's where you can book a reading. You can find a little bit more out about me. I am in this transitional space with my business where I'm updating different personal bio information. But please feel free to go on there. That has my email too, which is levontarot@gmail.com. Anyone can email me if they need like scaled pricing or like have some other questions. I also recently shifted over my Instagram from my floral page to Levon Tarot on Instagram. So again, same spelling, LEVONETAROT on Instagram. And one little blurb I'll say, one little bit at the end, is that Levon is special to me because Levone is the Yiddish word for moon. So years back, that's what I've chosen for my floral company because it's just really special to me, being Jewish and having a lot of elder family members who are Yiddish speakers. But yeah, so that's where Livone comes from. It's very close to my heart.
Very cool.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys tuning into this episode. As we always like to wrap up, we always say, life is, put the camera on me, life is short. Go out there and live life to the fullest. Go out there, skydive. Skydive. Do stand up. Do go out there and have fun. Live, love the people that you love. Tell them how much you love them every single day. Stop telling me to wrap it up. This is my way to sign up. People that you love, tell them that you love them every single day. Tomorrow is promised to no one. Yesterday is a history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is the present. It's a gift. That's why they call it the present. So make sure you tell the people that you love them every day. Learn. Go out there. We're going to educate all of our viewers on new language. We're going to start doing Russian, Egyptian, Arabic, Spanish, and French. We're gonna learn those languages together. Live, love, learn. And as a comic, that's gonna be hosting a very awesome comedy showcase August 21st at the Craft Beer Store, hosted by yourself, DJ Llewellyn. Laugh. Laughter is food for the soul. And between two perms, this is a place for learning and laughter. And if it's a topic of concern, it'll be discussed between two perms. That's it. One take. It's that.